'Cause even when I'm crashing down, there is higher ground. I'm falling fearless now. Hi, I'm Joscelyn, and a liver transplant saved my life.
I don't think anything could really prepare us for Joscelyn. She was that baby that didn't stop crying, didn't stop screaming.
Joscelyn, where's your hand?
Just crying. Walking, when she was walking, she would just cry. And I was like, wow, I'm really in for it, you know?
In hindsight, I wonder how much of it, now that we know that she was probably born with this condition, you know, if that's why she was crying. When Joscelyn was young, she had a hard time speaking.
I felt that there was something, you know, with like her attention, trying to get her to, you know, focus on something and trying to like get her to remember something.
Every time I try to remember things, it feels like a fog. I say something, I try to tell mom something, and I just forget so fast.
When she was about 8, we took her just routine blood work, the annual blood work. Her white platelets were really low and her enzymes were really high. Her pediatrician called, not in a panic, she wasn't hysterical, but she said this might be a cause for alarm. My pediatrician was able to direct us to a hematologist. The hematologist was able to direct us to Dr. Ovchinsky.
I met Joscelyn when she was 8 years old. I knew that she had liver disease just based on her labs, based on the fact that she already had some signs and symptoms of end-stage liver disease, but we still needed to make a diagnosis.
And when we first heard cirrhosis, we were a mess in the office.
So I hear cirrhosis, I hear scarring of the tissue, I hear vital organ. As you could imagine, that was devastating. I guess I just needed to hear the doctor tell me that we were gonna be okay. And that was what she told me. That was the first thing she said.
Dr. Ovchinsky, she was a hero to me because she was the one who took care of me and made me feel so much better, made my parents feel better, and she was the one who helped me.
In her case, we did a liver biopsy, which was diagnostic for something that's called primary sclerosing cholangitis.
PSC is something that makes you really itchy. It's something that blocks your memory. It's something where usually sometimes you don't really speak clearly that good.
Her liver dysfunction was also marked by some confusion because the liver wasn't clearing the toxins as well as it's supposed to. So all of those things can have a significant impact on a young child's development and their educational process.
When she told us exactly what was cirrhosis and that it was going to have to be a liver transplant, but she wanted to give the liver she had more time.
Even though many patients with PSC have cirrhosis of the liver, we really try to wait until complications are so severe and we can't manage them medically, where we will go to transplant.
The longer you delay the transplant, the less time patients are on immunosuppression. And right now we're working on ways to eliminate immunosuppression following transplant, but we're not there yet.
3 years went by pretty fast, and it was that time.
I felt shocked because I felt like I was gonna get my new liver until 12, and it came so soon.
Well, it was Sunday, July 23rd. We got the call. It was 8 o'clock in the morning.
That phone call is full of excitement for us as physicians.
We were obviously crying because the day's finally come, but there was also a level of excitement. She was so excited. The first thing she said was, I get to remember things.
It's usually an emotional day for us as hepatologists as well. We follow many of these children who are going for transplant for years. So they become our family members to a point as well.
Rolling her down to the operating room and really just watching her roll away. Well, I tried. I really didn't want to cry in front of her because I didn't want her to go into there with that emotion.
I just know I can't look at my wife. If I look at my wife, I'm gonna start, crying and start, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want my daughter to go into the OR seeing me like that. So, I just hugged her tight and, told her everything was gonna be okay.
A typical liver transplant can take anywhere between 5 and 10 hours. Her operation lasted about 7 hours and started pretty close to midnight, and she came out first thing in the morning.
It was a hard night, from 12 to about 9 o'clock in the morning, on pins and needles. And when they rolled her in, it's the happiest besides them being born, that was the happiest moment of my life.
So when you see her and you see her wake up, no matter whether it's groggy or one word, it's such a relief to just see your child awake, to see her up, to see her functioning, to see her She even did a little smile through it all. I don't know how she smiled, but she did.
Dr. Grisimo, he was the one who prepared the surgery, and he was the one who took care of me. He did this so many years now, so he saved my life.
After a transplant, we often leave drains next to the connections we make, particularly for the bile duct. And when we took her drain out, her way of relieving the stress and anxiety around us removing the drains was to sing during the whole process.
I love you till the very end.
So she sang a hip-hop song once, and she sang a pop song another time, showing not only her range from singing, but also her emotional maturity about being able to deal with some of the stress around being a transplant recipient.
To know that my child has a second chance at life. If I never believed in miracles before, it's a miracle. It's a complete miracle to see my daughter up and functioning, and to even say to me, I remember when I was 5 and this happened. I never thought she was going to remember these things.
After transplant, we expect that things will pick up, her memory will be better, she'll have more concentration, and I would say in Joscelyn's case it happened earlier than I even anticipated. But it does have to do with the fact that she now has this beautiful, new, healthy liver.
It's like restoring the files in the computer, if you will. Like she's able to gather that information or go back into those files and say, here it is. Oh yeah, I remember when I was 5 and we went to the zoo.
I hope that she continues to sing for a very long time, and that she continues to be the voice to advocate for children and adults with liver disease, the voice to advocate for organ donation that gave her a second lease on life, and hopefully the voice to advocate for American Liver Foundation as well.
So I'm happy that I get a second chance in life, and I'm so happy that thanks to this new liver, that I don't have to say goodbye.